The Kansas City Chiefs, without Tyreek Hill, their best receiver that they have had in quite a while, now gone to the Miami Dolphins. This is interesting. This is an interesting, and it's going to be a weird team without Tyreek Hill this year. How will that play out with Patrick Mahomes and company? Is Patrick Mahomes going to be able to find his number one receiver now that Hill is gone? How is Andy Reid going to be able to coach up? Is he going to be able to coach up this offense to be where they had last left off from the last 4 or 5 seasons since Patrick Mahomes' debut? And these are a lot of questions to really think about, but we're going to have to take a look and see what this Kansas City Chiefs' schedule is looking like for this year. So, this is your boy James here, and we're getting ready to review the Kansas City Chiefs' schedule. Let's take a look. So here we go. We've got the Chiefs starting in week 1. You have the Kansas City Chiefs at the Arizona Cardinals. This is going to be a very interesting game, I believe, for both teams, assuming that Kyler Murray is going to be playing for Arizona. Because of all the drama that's going on with Kyler Murray right now, and without DeAndre Hopkins is going to serve some time with some suspension. We don't know for how long for, but he is going to get suspended. Right now, we're going to assume that Kyler Murray is going to be playing in this game and throughout the season. So, but I don't think it's going to be enough for the Cardinals to be able to beat the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are just a better team, better coached, and I think they have better weapons that are more trustworthy on the offensive side, I believe. So I think the Chiefs do get that win in week 1 against the Cardinals. I would like to see an upset and kind of see what Kyler Murray can do with this Chiefs team, but I don't think the coaching staff is there yet to be able to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So I'm going to take the Chiefs to win in week 1 in Arizona. And then in week 2, you get to play the Los Angeles Chargers. They're coming on a Thursday night football game to play the Kansas City Chiefs. This is going to be an interesting game. Last year, the Chargers came to town and were able to beat the Kansas City Chiefs on the road. So could that happen again? Very possibly. I think the Chargers are a very good team. Some may argue that they actually might be even better than the Chiefs this year. But this is a very difficult game to really decide because we haven't really seen a whole lot of Justin Herbert on prime time. We did see him several times last year towards the end of the season where he was playing on Sunday Night Football. He did have a couple Monday night games. So this makes things very interesting. But it's going to be interesting more to the effect that he is playing Patrick Mahomes on prime time. And I think they did play on prime time last year, but that was in Los Angeles. So it was kind of different. When you play on prime time in Kansas City, it's very difficult. It's very challenging. So it's a very difficult game to really decide on who's going to win because I think they're both very good. And like I said, some people could argue that the Chargers are better than the Chiefs. I'm not going to make that prediction. I don't think so. I think they're both very evenly matched with one another. I think they're both very well coached teams in this league. But I think I'm going to give the edge to Kansas City because I think when you play Kansas City on prime time in Arrowhead, it's tough. It's never easy. So I think with this game, I think I'm going to lean more towards Kansas City and win that game. Then week 3, the Kansas City Chiefs are at the Indianapolis Colts. I did talk a little bit about this game with when I did my prediction for the Colts. The Colts are very sneaky, and they're a dark horse team in this league. I think they can make it to the playoffs this year. I think they can go kind of far. And I think at this early edge of the season, it's where Patrick Mahomes is going to really want to try to muster out some wins as early as possible in the season without his former receiver in Tyreek Hill. So that's going to change some things. And I think the Colts right now, I think the first 3 weeks, I think Patrick Mahomes is facing the best defense out of the first 3 weeks of the season in the Colts. And I think the Colts can take advantage here with using the run game and Jonathan Taylor. So I think the Colts do beat the Chiefs here. I think the Colts are strong in those aspects. I think they have a great defense. I think their defense is better than the Chiefs by a mile. I think that, but I do think Patrick Mahomes can keep it somewhat competitive. I think he can make it a competitive game. But I think on the other side of the ball, where Kansas City is playing defense, is going to be a struggle for them because they would have to need the game plan and figure out how they're going to stop Jonathan Taylor, how they're going to stop, how they're going to be able to stop Michael Pittman and all those guys on the offensive side for the Colts. So I'm going to take the Colts to win in Week 3. Then Week 4, this is a rematch of the Super Bowl from 2021. The Kansas City Chiefs are traveling back down to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady. This will be one of the best games. This should be the best game of the week, and also maybe one of the best games of the year, game of the year at least. This is going to be a really good game on both sides. I think Patrick Mahomes has always played Tom Brady pretty well. Even in the games that he's lost, he has played well, besides the last Super Bowl that they played in together. So this is a tough game. And I'm glad it's a Sunday night game because I think with this game, it deserves a prime time because it's a rematch. It's going to be able to really question on, are the Tampa Bay Bucks defense, when the last time when these two teams met, are they going to be able to put up their A game yet again when they played Patrick Mahomes the last time? It's going to be very challenging to do that because I think Mahomes now is going to try and figure out what he's going to be able to do without his number one receiver in Tyreek Hill. So I think they're facing a tough team. I think this is a really tough matchup for them. And then on the other side of the ball, you've got Tom Brady waiting. You've got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Leonard Fournette. You have Russell Gage now, who is down there. You have Scotty Miller. The Bucks are they have a lot of depth on the most important skills in offense, and that's receiver and the running back. They have the quarterback. I think the Bucks win this game. I think they do. I do think they win this game in Tampa. Listen, it's Tom Brady. It's in his home stadium. It's very hard to beat Tom Brady at home, especially on prime time. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to have another. I think he's going to have a good game. I think the Chiefs can have a good game against this Bucks defense, but they're going to have to really work hard at it to be able to beat Tom Brady. And then on the other side of that, if you think about it, the Mahomes is really going to have to be able to use all the receivers the best that he can to get through this secondary for the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers will be good if they are healthy in those positions. So, but I think I'm going to take the Bucks for Week 4. Then in Week 5, you played the Las Vegas Raiders, and they're coming to town to play Kansas City on a Monday Night Football game. I do believe the Chiefs are going to split with the Raiders this year. I think the Raiders are improved. They're better than they were a season ago. But I think on Monday night in prime time, I think I'm going to pick the Chiefs to win in Week 5 on Monday night. Just the first time, because it's tough to play. It's tough to play an Arrowhead on prime time. So I'm going to pick the Chiefs to beat the Raiders at home on that. Then you go to Week 6. You have the Buffalo Bills. They're traveling to Kansas City in a rematch of one of the greatest playoff games to ever be played. I do think the Bills have a good shot of being able to beat the Chiefs. I think they're going to be able to avenge their loss from a season ago. I think the Bills are one of the best teams, if not the best team in the AFC and in the league. I think Sean McDermott is going to do a much better job this time in terms of his defense to better prepare them and not give Patrick Mahomes a lot of time left to do what he does best with the ball. So I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills to beat Kansas City. They're going to revenge their loss there that they had last year. Then you've got the Kansas City Chiefs going to San Francisco to play the 49ers. Regardless of the quarterback in San Francisco, whether it's going to be Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance, I see the Chiefs winning this game for a couple of reasons. One of them is because I think the last time we saw these two teams play, the defense of the 49ers were good up until a certain point towards the end of the game where the Chiefs were able to kind of just stalemate them and weren't able to, they weren't really able to do anything to stop Patrick Mahomes. They were kind of just stuck after that, after taking a pretty, not a huge lead, but they did take a lead against the Chiefs. and the Chiefs defense at that time was able to make some big stops and being able to, not to give up any more of those big plays from the 49ers offensive side of the ball. I think the 49ers, typically, I don't know how good they're really going to be on defense with some of these explosive offensive teams. It's going to be interesting to see. We're going to see how Kyle Shanahan is going to be able to game plan the defense for Patrick Mahomes. So it's going to be a tough game to decide, to really see who's going to win that game. But I think the Chiefs should win this game. I think they got the better quarterback. They got the better receivers. I think, and I think they're just slightly better coached, not by a whole lot. I think Kyle Shanahan is a great coach for the 49ers. And I think any good team that he does go up against, I think they do the best that they can to beat any team that they're given. So, but I think the Chiefs will be able to beat the 49ers in San Francisco. And then you go into the bye week and you don't have a really great record after 7 weeks. You only have a 4-3 record. So that's not really looking too great. And you're kind of starting to worry about what the playoff implications are going to look like at that point in time. But then you go into week 9 and you play the Tennessee Titans at home. I talked about it in my Titans prediction video. The Titans have always been a struggle for the Chiefs to play, whether it's been Patrick Mahomes or Andy Reid coaching or Alex Smith. The Chiefs have had some problems beating the Titans, and last year was definitely a year that I think the Chiefs would never want to forget. They're still going to be pretty sour from that 27-3 loss to the Titans, and honestly, I think the Chiefs avenged their loss from a season ago. And I think they come off the bye week, and I do think they can beat the Titans on Sunday Night Football. Again, it's prime time. It's Arrowhead. It's hard to play against Patrick Mahomes in his home stadium. So I'm going to take the Chiefs to win that one against the Titans. And then you got the Jaguars at the Chiefs. The Chiefs should win that one. They're going to start getting better now. The Chiefs are going to be able to figure out what they're going to do now that they don't have Tyreek Hill. Patrick Mahomes is going to start playing really well now. So I'm taking the Chiefs. The Chiefs are just a better team than the Jaguars. The Jaguars are just not a very good team. And then you go into week 11. Then you've got the Los Angeles Chargers. You're going to be going on the road and trying to play them. The Chargers last time could have had plenty of opportunities to beat the Chiefs in their home stadium, but there were some blown opportunities for that to even happen because of last year. That defense for the Chargers was not very good. The Chargers have improved significantly in the defense, and I think their offensive line has gotten stronger. So I like the way that this Chargers team is looking right now. I think they do find a way, and they will beat the Chiefs at home. But I think it's going to be a very competitive game. I think if you're a Chargers fan, if you're Justin Herbert, if you are Austin Eckler and you're Brandon Staley, all those guys, you're going to really want to be able to play this game out. You're going to really need to be on your A game to be able to beat the Chiefs. But I think it can be possible. I think it can be done. Then week 12. This is going to be one of the best games of the season, in my opinion. It might be game of the year, one of the games of the year at least. The Los Angeles Rams going to the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the last time these two teams met was one of the greatest games that I think anybody would have ever watched from the National Football League. The Rams got the best of that, and back then that was with Jared Goff, and he was able to put 54 points up against a terrible, terrible Kansas City defense. So this is going to make some things very interesting, though. Matthew Stafford versus Patrick Mahomes. This is a matchup that we have seen before. We did see them play when Stafford did play for the Detroit Lions, and he put up 30 points against Patrick Mahomes when he was with the Lions. And I think he's going to put up some valuable points again on the board. I think these two teams their offenses are both extremely explosive. I don't think either defenses are going to be able to stop each other at all from scoring. But who's going to win the game, though, is the bigger question. Who's going to be able to play the bigger game in this role? I think the Rams, honestly, right now on paper, with all that they have, I think they have a good shot of beating the Chiefs. I mean, you take a look at what the Rams have. They have a better quarterback than they did 4 years ago. They have Cooper Kupp. They have Cam Akers. They have Tyler Higbee. They have Allen Robinson. They have all the weapons that they really need, and they have a defense too that can play up to the Chiefs' expectations a little bit. So, but I think the Chiefs will find ways to score points off of the Rams defense. I think that Rams defense, while they're solid, they do get a little shaky at times. There's no question about that. And I think Mahomes is going to find ways to be able to uh, break that defense apart with all the magic that he's able to produce when he is playing a good defense. So I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. But I think the Rams got the best of that game, and they should be able to win in Week 12. I think the Rams are going to find a way to upset the Chiefs and win in Arrowhead. And then it goes into Week 13. You've got the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. I talked about it in my Cincinnati Bengals video. I think they're one of the best teams in the AFC this year. I think they're really good. I think they've improved drastically. I think their offensive line is going to be better. I think their defense is better than Kansas City's, and I just there's not much more to say about it. I think it's very hard to find teams that are going to beat Mahomes and company 3 times in a row. I think the Bengals are one of the only few teams that can do it 3 times in a row. I like the Bengals. I like what they've done in the offseason. I liked what they did last year. I like the story that they were coming off from. And right now, I think they're a more explosive and better team for if you are a Bengals fan. So I'm gonna go with the Bengals to win in Week 13. And then a Sunday night game, you've got Kansas City that's traveling over to the Denver Broncos to play the Broncos. This is going to be a really good game because now this is going to be the second time where Russell Wilson is going to meet up with Patrick Mahomes. So this is a good opportunity for Russell Wilson to get his, his I guess second win over Patrick Mahomes. But I don't think it's going to be able to happen on Sunday night. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to find ways. They always play. I think the Broncos do a good job on defense to contain Mahomes and company. I think they don't really. They like to try to keep him contained in the pocket, which is something that every time he doesn't have a whole lot of time. It's when Mahomes starts to scramble around and he tries to find the most open receiver as possible. So I think they do a good job with containing him in the pocket, and I think as long as they don't chase and blitz on Patrick Mahomes, I think the Broncos can split with the Chiefs at one point. And I think it's going to happen later on in the season. I think the Denver Broncos are going to be able to beat them in that point in time with the Chiefs later on, because by that point in time, I think Russell Wilson will be able to figure out the experience from that loss to the Chiefs. And yeah, I think the Chiefs do split with the Broncos, giving the Broncos the first time they'll ever beat Patrick Mahomes. So that'll be something special if they're able to do that. So that's how I'm going to pick that. Kansas City at Houston. I picked Kansas City. I mean, that's just not really even a close game, to be honest with you. Nothing really to get excited about Houston. I don't think they're very good. So that'll be interesting to see. Then week 16, you got the Seattle Seahawks going to Kansas City to play the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs should win that game as well. I don't expect the Chiefs to really be doing the Seahawks to really do anything special this year with Drew Lock, but that could change. You never know. But I think the Chiefs do win that game pretty handily. And then you go into week 18, and then this is you're kind of looking at this as kind of like a game where it may be, depending on the playoffs and implications and who's going to be able to make the playoffs. Is the Chiefs going to make the playoffs as a wild card, or are they going to be able to win the division? It's very difficult to make that happen, but I don't know. It's very hard to really decide. I think if there's any team that I do think the Chiefs could honestly sweep this year, and I was saying it before, I thought they would be able to sweep the Raiders, but I don't think they're going to right as of right now. It's very possible they could later on in the season, but I don't see that really happening as of right now. I think I'm going to pick the Chiefs to win though, in Las Vegas. I like the Vegas Raiders. I think the Raiders are good. They're improved. They're better than they were before. But I just don't know if Patrick Mahomes is going to be able to split. I don't know if he's going to split with all three teams. I think if there's any team he will definitely split with is the Chargers, but it's very hard to decide whether if he's going to split with um if he's either going to split with like two of it more of, I guess you could say, the worser teams in the Raiders and the Broncos. So we'll see when the season comes. But right now I have the Chiefs looking at a 10-7 record, which honestly is below of what I would have expected. I kind of thought they would have been around 11-6, maybe 12-5 if they're lucky, which 10-7 may be enough to be able to make the playoffs, given with what their conference record is like. But I don't really expect the Chiefs to be superior that like they've been in years past. I still think they'll be good. I still think they're going to be very tough to beat, but I just don't see them being like the superior Chiefs team that they once were um, before. But a 10-7 record, that's pretty reasonable. I think that's possibly the worst record that you can give the Chiefs, honestly. Either that or 11-6, I think, are the two worst records you can give them. But I mean, if you really take a look at it on paper, it's tough because they do play a lot of really good teams this year. I think this is the toughest Chiefs schedule that we've seen in Patrick Mahomes' era, at least. So I think this is a pretty solid record. I think this is a pretty good schedule for them here, but this is really going to test them too. There are some games that I do think they can beat. Like they could possibly potentially beat the Bengals and beat them, or they could be able to beat the Rams at home and beat them. But honestly, it's tough to tell. It's really hard to tell what they'll do. But 10-7, that's my record. What do you guys think about the Chiefs? Do you think they're going to be better? Do you think they're going to be worse? Or just around the same as where they were last year? Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. And I will see you all for the next AFC West team that we're going to do. And the next one we're going to do will be the Denver Broncos. So hope you all stick around for that, and we'll see you shortly.